This is Eleanor Hospice in Gravesend, one of Kent's busiest hospices. A registered charity, Eleanor provides treatment to over 2,500 people requiring care and support right across the county. The care that they deliver is free for people of all ages. 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year.
I have my own little motto, and it's live life hard and fast and every day as if it's your last.
You know, life is precious. When people realise they have a shorter time than they thought was likely, actually every moment matters.
Their 200-strong staff and 600 volunteers are dedicated to making people's remaining days the best they can be.
It's about just letting that person just leave the ward with dignity and respect.
I'm sure every nursing profession cares, but there's something special about hospice.
Hi.
Eleanor also take their support and treatment right into people's homes.
To have a really good cry is amazing.
You may think a hospice is a place people come to die.
Some people think as soon as you say the word hospice, that's the end of the road.
But it's actually a place people come to live.
There's a huge amount to offer.
It is full of fun. It is full of laughter.
You need to live life to the full. You don't know what's around the corner.
So let's make the most of what we've got.
It's 9 a.m. Monday morning at Eleanor Hospice, Gravesend, and Chief Executive Claire Cardy is checking in with her staff regarding preparations for the grand opening of a new creative therapy room.
How are the plans for that coming on?
Yeah, really good. We're just going through the briefing document at the moment. So we've got staff from across Eleanor that will be able to highlight how that room's going to be used.
The new facilities will offer children with life-threatening or life-changing conditions a safe space to play and enjoy themselves.
We care for all ages here, but we haven't particularly had a room like this where children could come and use the facilities that we've got. So it's a real addition to what we do here, and it's a fantastic new bright and airy room that gives us the space to provide both music and play therapy at different times.
And then we've got the Mayor and Mayoress of Gravesend coming, and they're going to do the official cutting of the ribbon for us on the day as well.
That's great. So it sounds like quite a lot of people coming. Can we fit everyone in?
It's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze, so we've got about 30 guests.
But it's always really exciting when the Mayor comes. We're always really grateful for the support of the Mayor, and we've been fortunate enough to be chosen as the Mayor's Charity of the Year.
I get a bit nervous, I guess. It's just making sure you get everything right and don't miss out any of the key details.
Arriving at Eleanor for some relaxation therapy are husband and wife Karen and Gary Hall, who are coming to terms with a recent life-affecting diagnosis for Karen.
Cancer doesn't discriminate against. It doesn't matter how old or how young you are, you know, and it doesn't matter how you find out. It's still, the shock is still there. I went in for a routine operation, and 5 days later we found out that I had cancer and that it had spread as well.
It completely changed our lives, didn't it?
All of this was difficult for us as a family, going from a routine operation to a cancer diagnosis, to then being advised it was terminal.
Where is the pain? In the front or round, in the back?
The Halls have arranged a meeting with senior nurse Angela in a bid to help them manage a secondary condition that is causing Karen discomfort.
I have a condition that they found on a CT scan called
diverticulitis.
Diverticulitis.
Yeah.
Which we're struggling to manage.
And it's getting worse.
And no one's listening.
Angela is.
No, I don't mean that, but...
No.
Both her husband and her are struggling, trying to come to terms with this new pain, and she's having wakeful nights, and he's feeling helpless because he can't help her to get comfortable.
I mean, there last night and every night it's 5 minutes in this chair, then she's got to get up, and that hurts her to get up, move to another chair, move to the sofa.
In palliative care, the partners, it's usually men who try and appear that they have got things under control, but deep down they are worried because they want to to do something for their wives and their partners, and they feel helpless.
Can't stop her from being in pain. I can't get her comfortable of a night time. So we're getting a lot of tears and a lot of frustration from Karen, which ends up in me becoming fretful because I don't know what to do.
Do you find you're at a loss?
Yeah, oh, totally at loss.
We both are.
And if it wasn't for here, I don't know what we'd be doing.
Meanwhile, across the corridor, hospice driver Dennis Warren is contacting the day patients he'll be picking up later that morning to take to Eleanor.
Oh, sorry, Neil. It's in here from the Eleanor Hospice. So we first got involved with the Eleanor when the Eleanor nurses visited our homes to look after our parents, keep them comfortable and keep them out of pain. And then after the inevitable happened, we wanted to give something back, and the only thing we could give back was our time. We started helping the fundraisers just on the odd job, and we've grown from there. And when I retired, I was able to give up 1 day a week to drive a minibus. When we fetch Peter home tonight, if his wife's out or if any of his family members are out, then we work the key safe for him and make sure he gets in safely. But if his family's at home, then they make sure he comes out okay. But he's obviously a bit delayed this morning. It's quite chilly, isn't it? Right, here we go. Peter will come out under his own steam. He's got a motorised wheelchair. Trevor will put him on the ramp, make sure he's secure. And when he's ready, when he's secure, Trevor will raise him up. Morning, Pete. You all right? Yeah, fine, you? I can't explain why I like to come back, but you kind of get hooked on working here. The people are so nice that you just want to keep coming back. And I can foresee me doing this for forever, I think.
It's 10:10 and student volunteer Natalie Bennett is starting her shift for the day.
Well, I've always wanted to be a nurse ever since I was really little, and I really wanted to get a bit more hands-on experience. Initially, I joined up to get more of an insight into what palliative care is. I was attracted to it because of the exact reason that people run a mile from hospices. You think of a hospice, you think morbid, you think... You just don't, you wouldn't see it as a very nice, happy place that I see it as now I've worked here.
Natalie is on Eleanor's sixth form programme, which allows school students to explore a career in nursing.
At the hospice, I have a lot of duties, from making a cup of tea and tidying up cupboards, doing personal care, washing people, bathing people. The families and the patients make the best of what they have, and they're happy as you can be in the situation they're in. I didn't expect how full on it is, how emotional it can be, and however much you try your hardest not to get attached to these patients, it's really hard not to. And I think I didn't prepare myself for any of that. We're going to do your pillow again, all right? Oh, yes.
One of her patients today is Mary Deuce, who is suffering from bowel and liver cancer.
She's from Scotland. She wasn't brought up in the rough area or whatever, but I do like to have a little joke with her and pretend that she is. So, Mary, I heard you grew up in the Goulballs.
Did you? I grew up in the Royal Borough of Rutherglen.
It's so nice when you get them a cup of tea and they're just so grateful. All these little things that me and you wouldn't think be a big thing, they're a big thing in their life, and we are privileged to help them. It's nice to know that she's got someone to talk to and that I can make an impact into her life. The fact that she enjoys it makes me love it just that little bit more. So, what could I do for lunch? The chef said we've got teriyaki chicken. I think we're doing it for the Chinese New Year. We've got that as an option.
No.
No, don't
Not
fancy
even
it.
if that's the only choice this evening.
You don't fancy it? Sure I can't tempt you with the teriyaki chicken?
Meanwhile, with just 20 minutes until the mayor arrives to unveil the new play therapy room, maintenance supervisor Bob has discovered there may be a technical problem.
So everything's going fine, apart from we can't find the big orange scissors to cut the ribbon for the opening today. But I'm sure everything will be fine and we'll find them. I'm always up against the clock. Everything we do is against the clock, but it'll be fine. We've got 20 minutes, so. Has anyone seen the scissors to cut for the opening?
Don't say that.
No, not the large ones.
Because there was a big orange pair somewhere.
There was. I haven't seen them since we were in Dartford.
Okay. How are you, all right? Good. Morning, girls. You all right? Has anyone seen the big pair of orange scissors that we use for cutting ribbon? No. They're about this long, bright orange. Has anyone seen the scissors to cut the tape on the new room?
No, but we can get you some scissors.
I think we're going to need the bigger ones than that. I'll go and see if there's any.
There you go.
Oh, that'll do. Lovely.
There you go,
Thank you. It's 10 to 9 and we've just found some substitute scissors, so the show will go on.
It's 10:30 at Eleanor Hospice in Gravesend, and with the Mayor now in situ, Chief Executive Claire Cardy can unveil the new Children's Therapy Room.
I'd like to welcome the Mayor of Gravesend, Councillor Harold Crask. I don't know how many of you have seen the room, but it really is a very special little room, but it is quite small. It's certainly not designed as a function room, which is why we're starting off in here and not in the room itself, as you'll see when we go down there. But actually it may be quite a small facility, but it's a really, really important one. The children's care that we provide, we care for some of the sickest children. We also care for children who have been bereaved, perhaps have lost a parent or a sibling. And sometimes the only way we can really communicate and help those children is with a therapeutic approach of creative therapies. So that's using play therapy, or music therapy, which is a real way to connect with that young person and allow them to express their feelings. So thank you to all of you who have helped, and in a moment we're going to attempt to squeeze down the corridor and have the official opening. Thank you.
I'm always a bit worried when I take scissors, but I'm hoping this is going to work. You're going to help me?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, let's see if we can do this together. Oh, you need to grow. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey! Thank you.
We know that either music therapy or play therapy can make a huge difference, and it's really helped some children with really difficult emotions or perhaps even behavioural problems where they're getting angry and frustrated because they can't explain how they feel in words. And we've seen real positive difference and heard from families who've said it's made a real difference to children that have benefited from these creative therapies.
One family that will benefit greatly from the new facilities are father and daughter, Peter and Lucy, who lost wife and mother Sharon to cancer 5 months ago.
We're really excited about the new play area. She's quite creative anyway, and I feel that that's how she adjusts herself, is through play. It's helped her interact again properly. It's helped her not be afraid. Obviously losing a parent, she was almost thinking that, clung to me, thinking that she was going to lose me too. We live it day by day. We, juggle life around. Obviously having to go to work and be mother and father to Lucy. It's just something that I've had to, step up and do. I didn't expect to want to have to do it. It just happens and you've got to deal with it. And yeah, it is tough, very tough. Having somewhere that I know that she is safe and that I can trust, it's made me cope with it better. It's helped you, hasn't it? And do you feel happier now?
Down the corridor in the cafeteria, one person who is not enjoying the grand unveiling of the children's play area is Family Services Coordinator Tina Humphreys.
I've had a request from one of the children. They want to hold a spider, and my biggest fear is holding spiders, but I'm putting a brave face on for the children. Do I have to hold it? Do I have to sit near it? Just hold it in the box, and I go round with the box to the children. Yeah. She's not going to be able to get out of this box, is she?
They can't jump. If she jumps, she breaks the abdomen.
Oh, gosh. Smooth. Yeah. Am I shaking? Can you feel the fear? I'll do anything to make a child smile. That's what makes my day. Can I stop now?
On the other side of the hospice, senior nurse Angela Cook is with Gary and Karen Hall, discussing the effect that Karen's cancer is having on their relationship.
We know what we're up against long term. We're not naive.
And what's that, Karen?
It's a rare cancer. We don't know where it's going to go or come next.
One of the things I would like to achieve today is for them to both hear how each other are feeling, because they're protecting one another, and especially for her husband to actually express how he's feeling, his helplessness.
It has strained us.
It really has. I can't begin to tell you. Tested.
How long have you been married?
Too long. No, nearly 40 years.
That's really good.
I love him to bits, and honestly, this journey, I couldn't have done it with anyone else. He's been there every step of the way, every appointment, every chemotherapy. He wouldn't go home. He'd just sit in the garden and say, well, I'm fine. You can go and have a break, Dad. Well, I don't really want a break.
Can't have a break.
No.
I can't.
You can't relax.
Because even if I do, I don't stop thinking about her.
It's quite common this happens in a relationship, especially one that they've been married for a long time. Each one of them is trying to protect one another, and they don't discuss things like this unless there's a third party like ourselves, and we go and talk about the physical pain, but we also assess psychological, emotional pain.
He needs counselling, but he won't accept it.
I have accepted it. I've
No.
tried it. Didn't help.
No. Counselling's something either you're receptive to or you're not.
Because you're just as important as she is.
He's more
Not to
important.
me, I'm not.
You are.
She's more important.
Yeah.
As I've always said, it's all been about sorting things, isn't it? Looking after the kids and everything. And well,
He's an engineer, he's a fixer. He used to have
that's the problem, that
everything.
doesn't help.
Everything used to be brought home from school because Gary's always fixed
the kids used to
everything.
bring bags of Christmas lights home from their teachers. What you brought them home for? Well, I told my teacher you could fix them. My dad can
You fix anything.
And this is why you're feeling the way you are?
Yeah, probably, because I can't fix her.
It's midday and student volunteer Natalie is hard at work.
This is the most glamorous side of the job, if you'd like to say. Cleaning all the commodes and the trolleys. I wouldn't say this is the funnest part, but I'm a single mum, so I'm the sole provider for me and my son. And I do have a partner, but he's not Rio's dad. So that does put a lot of pressure on me to go out and do well. Hence the reason why I get up every day and I do come here and I go to college. Obviously, being my age and having a young son, you have a very short time span where you have to decide what you want to do, where you want to go, because someone now relies on you. I want him to have the best in life, and the only way I'm going to get that is to go out and work and make something of myself. So I think it was hard, but he's the reason why I do all this. He's the reason why I get up and I do come to the hospice. He's the reason why I do everything. It has only impacted me in a positive way. It makes me want to do well, it makes me want to learn more, and it makes me want to give him the best upbringing that I can.
The children have a problem, they go and see Mum. If Mum's got a problem, she comes to see me. And when I've got a problem, I have to deal with it.
I would say he's struggling the most because taking on those additional
I feel her
responsibilities.
pain, definitely.
Yeah, you feel her pain.
Yeah.
And you're helpless, you cannot fix it.
Yeah.
No.
It must be equally frustrating as well.
What, frustrating? Oh, frustration ain't the word.
And what are you doing? Is there someone you can talk to about this?
No.
Are you a person who talks about it?
No.
Typical man.
But I'm talking to you about it, aren't I?
Good.
It's only because you've weakened me. And that's my problem. When I become weak, then I get like this.
If they don't talk about their emotions while they're going through the journey with their partners, at the end, when a partner is gone, there are lots of bereavement issues, there's lots of guilt, especially in a gentleman in a situation where this couple are at, because he feels helpless. He feels that as a husband, as a protector, he needs to do something. Do you think about losing her?
I haven't done, no. What question to ask me? It's not happening.
No.
It's not happening.
No.
But reality is that...
It's not happening.
Right, that's why you need help.
Can't accept it.
That's fine.
Won't accept it. And I won't give up either.
He won't show it because of you. He wants to protect you. Although he wasn't expecting me to delve into the emotional side, he was actually willing to speak, which is something that's really positive. But thank you for talking to me, though. There's a lot of men who don't talk about it. At least he knows that there's somebody who's willing to listen. Even if he doesn't talk about it again, the fact that he discussed it today in front of her is definitely a positive sign.
In Gravesend, Eleanor Hospice physiotherapist Andy Loden is on his way to see long-term multiple sclerosis patient Reese, who was recently hospitalised after contracting pneumonia.
I'm a little bit worried about how he's doing at the moment because of his recent hospital admissions. I don't know exactly what level he's going to be at physically, and I think probably what I'm concerned about is not only how it's going to affect him, but how it's going to affect me, because I don't want to show him if I get a little bit upset, because I need to maintain that professional boundary. But then it's okay to be concerned for your patients. I wouldn't be human if I didn't show concern, particularly for patients that I've known for quite a long time. So I'm a little bit worried about emotionally how I'm going to be if he's not doing quite so well.
Andy is particularly keen to see how Reese's care team are assisting with his physical rehabilitation.
Now, whilst I massively care about Reece and we've got our bromance going on, I also care about you guys.
Yeah.
And I would say you could probably just raise that bed up a little bit because you're quite low.
Yeah.
Let's raise this bed up just a little bit, because if you guys scupper your backs...
Yeah, we normally do that.
Yeah, let's make that a little bit higher. That's fine. OK, so if you could just show me what you've been doing with Reece.
Because what I'm thinking is, OK, what muscles he needs to work.
Mm-hmm.
So when he's here, I'm going to start lifting up the elbow.
OK.
So to give a bit more of, start working on other muscles.
OK, just starting to stretch there.
Things like that. Or when he's up here, in this one, OK, try to touch your nose, so bending.
So just trying to encourage some of the activity.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. I think the overall rule is that as long as Reece is comfortable with what you're doing, then that should be OK.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure we're supporting him enough that it's not painful for him.
Yeah, no, so far it's been really good. It's like I'm improving.
I was doing one limb at a time, but now I want to break the circle on the brain.
Yep.
So what I'm doing is I swap, like mirroring. If I'm doing this leg, the other carer is doing the other arm.
OK.
And then we swap.
So you're getting some patterns of movement together.
Yeah. But I break them because I don't want the brain to get used to the same routine. Does it make sense?
Absolutely. So you're always changing the limbs that you're doing together just to make sure that those movement patterns don't get completely fixed.
Exactly.
Lovely. I mean, I think the care that you guys are giving him is absolutely top-notch, and I think actually, Reece, you're really lucky that these guys are doing all this stuff with you, and I think kudos to you guys for doing the care with Reece that well, he really needs and he really deserves, and everything I've seen so far is absolutely spot on. I'm really, really impressed.
Down the road from the hospice in Sidcup, fundraiser Samantha Seifer is preparing for her latest charity challenge, which is happening tonight.
Today I'm going to do my fundraising event of walking across fire, which is a bit scary. Last year in January, my uncle, who I was very close with and suffered from the terrible cancer illness, he was in the hospice for the last couple of months of his life. It was just a great place for him and for us as a family to be together. Nothing was ever a hassle for them, and they made his life and everyone else's life so much easier. I was a bit younger when he was diagnosed with cancer, and then as I grew older and I saw what was really happening to him, I felt so sad, and I realised how much we had in common. He was so outgoing and he loved punk music. He had the proper Mohican, the leather jackets, and he did give me one of his badges that he wore on his leather jacket that says "Punk's Not Dead." And for his funeral, we made copies of it, and everyone at the funeral wore the badge as a remembrance. I was looking at the Eleanor website, seeing what can I do to give back. At this point, I was just so desperate to give something back and to raise money for them. And they have walks, they have marathons, skydives, but I'm a little bit more extravagant, and I had to do the Sahara Desert. I couldn't just do any normal walk. The 8 of us that went on that trek, together we raised £17,000 for the Eleanor Hospice. Seeing how my uncle was made me realise that life is too short, and I really just want to get out there and do everything.
For moral support and additional sponsorship, Samantha is hoping to convince her mother, Nicola, that firewalking alongside her is a really good idea.
I know it's a bit last minute and a bit spontaneous, but it'll just be another bucket list thing to tick off.
I wasn't expecting this one today. I do many challenges, but you've just put this one on me, and how can I refuse raising money for...
Exactly.
It's a big challenge, that one.
What else would you be doing this evening?
Well, I'd be doing something a bit different than walking on fire.
I just have to really convince her, and I think we would get more funds if we both done it together as a team, and it will just be an amazing experience for both of us to share together.
Back at Eleanor Hospice, resident physiotherapist Andy Loden is preparing to meet his next patient.
I really love my job, and I think it's because every day is different, every patient is different. I think what I enjoy doing is finding out their story and letting them tell me about their life so that I can then use that to do a more appropriate physio treatment that they can then relate to. A perfect example of this is Patrick. He's a gentleman in our day therapy area who's having some problems with his walking and general fitness. Right, I just want you to walk with me, just holding my hands, and off we go. Come with me. That's nice. Pick those feet up as we go. He was a very active man. He was a boxer at quite a high level. And so I'm hoping to put an exercise program in that he can relate to, that we can have some fun with. Big steps as we go. And maybe take him back to his younger years when he was a little bit more physically fit and active. So what I want to do today, Patrick, just go through some exercises to build the strength in your legs, and then we'll go through some exercises to build up your arms as well. Am I right in thinking you used to be a boxer? What weight? Welterweight. So do you think you can float like a butterfly and sting like a bee? No? Well, let's give it a try. Let's have your arms up here. I don't want exercises to be monotonous. I don't want people to think, oh, physio. I want people to think, OK, I can have some enjoyment when I'm doing these exercises. And if he's having fun, he's much more likely to do it by himself. Right, come on, get your guard up and give me your jabs. Nice. And the other one. Good. And then the other one. Good. Careful though, keep that guard up. Good. Look, I can get right through the middle. Oh, very good. I'm gonna get right through the middle. Very good. And this one, very good. This one, excellent. Still got it after all these years. Brilliant. I'm gonna come get a few tips off you, I think. I'll see you again soon.
Yeah, you too.
Take care.
Back at the hospice, this family have brought in their mother, who is suffering from a life-limiting cancer diagnosis and has been referred to Eleanor for end-of-life care.
She had a fall probably 6 months ago, which
April last year.
was it April? For long as that, crikey! But the deterioration following that
Just continued.
it's
really.
just continued to such an extent that we literally had to get her into a hospital only a few days ago, and this is where we find ourselves now, which, as I say, is is a vast improvement from that situation. Well, I couldn't have wished for a better mother and father.
Fantastic. I couldn't.
Very moral, very.
Yeah, and if anything, the hospice will be very, very crowded with visitors for this lady. She's always given out love all her life, so she's getting it back now.
I've always seen Mum as probably Ireland's version of Mother Teresa.
Yeah.
She's such a loving person that it's hard to describe. She just doesn't have a bad bone in her body. I just couldn't imagine her saying anything horrible.
She's just very, very calm. She's got a wonderful personality, a great sense of humour. And
everything is for the family. I mean, when we grew up, neither Mum or Dad had a car. 8 children, no car, and the nearest, substantial shop was probably 1.5 miles away. And she would walk into the town, downhill, walk back up the hill with 4 enormous bags full of shopping, full of potatoes. Obviously, the Irish family bit as well. And she would just do that every day of the week, and people just wouldn't do that kind of stuff now, and we'll never see the like of that again, I don't think.
She's very, very loved, as my dad was, and now she belongs back with him.
They're very hard to live up to, actually. In reality, I've got 2 children now, 11 and 12, and I'm always comparing myself to my parents because they were just so wonderful, and it's very difficult to when you get cross with your kids, you think, God, would Mum and Dad have done that? Mm-hmm. So Mother Teresa. It's a good.
Good description. Very good description. Yeah.
It's been difficult watching the deterioration and not having somewhere where we could all
enjoy
the last days.
Yeah, that's the
that she is with us.
Get to enjoy a loved one if you come to a facility like this. It takes it all away. We've got all our Valdunican CDs out there and her music, and she loves a bit of music. I think she'll be very, very calm.
Even if we have to put up with Valdunican for a couple of days.
I know every word of every CD now. Yeah.
It's 4 p.m. and Hospice Physio Andy has received a phone call from the mother of multiple sclerosis patient Reese. She wants to know how best she can help with her son's physical rehab.
When people become unwell, the families tend to take a bit of a step back and let the carers take over and let the healthcare professionals take over, and they can feel a little bit helpless. And particularly as a parent, you want to be looking after your child as much as you can and as much as you can kind of contribute to that care. And I think Reese's mum would really benefit herself from knowing that she's contributing still to helping Reese have a really good quality of life. OK, well, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
For Mum Della, Reese's diagnosis of multiple sclerosis 11 years ago has been an isolating experience.
Reece got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when he was 15. Academically, he was like a bright kid, very, very sporty. He was like looking forward and, like finishing school and moving on to college. But when he got diagnosed with MS, it came as a real shock. The way it took over, it happened suddenly. I mean, 1 minute he's kicking a football around and the next minute he's, crawling. May of last year, that's when I first learnt that Reece was, fighting pneumonia. Second week into him going into hospital, we were being told that, that he may not make it through. It was a roller coaster ride. I knew that one day we would be walking this, on this road. I just didn't think it was going to be like then. And when they started talking about the hospice, I've always thought going to Eleanor is time to say like your goodbyes and stuff. Reece was in a dark place. It was almost like he'd given up. He'd be, just locked away in his bedroom. It's like trying to hold water in your hands and your fingers are wide open. You just can't hold that water, it just trickles through. And that's how I felt with Reece, was that it didn't matter how much I tried to hold on to my lad, he just seemed to be slipping through my fingers. And then with pneumonia coming, it was like a wake-up call. Okay, you choose, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay in this dark place, or are you going to start moving forward? And it was just like that time was when he decided, like, no, I'm not ready.
Are you suffering with spasms very much at the moment?
A little bit.
Okay, yeah. So when we do a stretch, if there is a spasm...
Oh my gosh, Andy's been phenomenal, awesome. I mean, not just in the sense that he helps him with, you know, the exercises. He's actually interested in Reese and his overall well-being, which is half the battle. You know, he just seems to know how to sort of like relate with him.
Don't be a hero and try and push into it.
So I've asked him to come back just to sort of like see how much he's improved and to see what else we can do to keep his, you know, keep moving forward with his rehabilitation.
Just down the corridor, volunteer hairdresser Carol Barrett is getting the salon ready for her next client.
I'd been hairdressing since I was 15 when I left school, and I won't tell you my age now. I'm probably older than the patients. I just love it, and I love the people, and it's nice to remember that they weren't always like they are now, and it brings it home really that, you know, that could be us out there. Well, Jean's coming in a minute. She's a lovely lady. She's a bit of a character. She's one of my favourites. How's that? Is that about the right height for you?
That's fine.
Just coming through the hot water.
Oh, I'm glad.
Is that warm enough?
That's okay.
Yeah? Hairdressers always get told stories. As one patient told me, it's nice to talk to someone who isn't a nurse. We had a gentleman who reminded me of my dad. And he'd been in the Second World War. He was 90 and he got the Legion of Honour through being in the D-Day landings. I said, oh, have you had your medal yet? So he said, nope. And then another day he said to me, put your hand in my pocket, Carol. And then he brought out his medal, you know, where Legion d'Honour, I think. Legion of Honour, yeah, from France. It's just very touching that they're so lovely to you. That was wonderful, and that made me a bit tearful. I do get tearful sometimes, but not in a sad way. The fact that you can make people a bit happier. And we found out last week it's better coming all forward, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. What you've done last week looked like Judi Dench.
Yeah, Judi Dench style we're having today, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because you're younger than her.
Oh, not by much.
She's great though, isn't she, don't you think?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You don't dwell on what's gone on in here. You're just grateful that this place is here for people. But I'm sure you collect friends, don't you?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure you do. However you feel when you walk in here, any worries you've got just go out the window and you walk out and you think, nothing's so important as your health.
Across Gravesend, Physio Andy is showing Reese's mother, Della, how best to assist with her son's physical rehabilitation.
He's at risk of developing pressure sores, which indeed become a chance of a source of infection. And if he can just make himself a bit more upright or move himself around a little bit more, even just in the chair, it's going to reduce the chance of him developing some of these pressure sores, improve his circulation.
Do tell Andy what happens though, Reece,
see what you're feeling.
because he tends to fall to the left. I had a preconceived idea of a hospice, you know, that people go there when it's end of their life or their time. Going into Eleanor, they got me to look at it in a different way, that he's not going today, so just enjoy him today, you know? And just the way they was, just treating Reece as Reece. They didn't look at him as a very, very poorly young man. I started to bounce off that same kind of energy that they were projecting. As the days were going on, the more and more I learned was that they wasn't giving up on Reece. They didn't just sign him off, which I always thought that that's what it was that, you know, people go there and you just get them comfortable, but then you just wait for that dreaded day. And clearly it wasn't like that.
If I don't want you to think, right, stop everything, time to do physio. Actually, I want you to build it into your daily routine. When you're sitting there watching TV, you can just do your exercises during that period. And then that's easier for you as well.
Since Eleanor, he's a different person. I can see the sparkle in him. You see that sparkle in your kid's eyes.
And again, deep breath in.
He's not in that place anymore. If anything, he's looking forward to tomorrow.
And relax. Okay, and then what I want you to do, I want you to imagine that there's a string attached to your head, and I'm pulling on that string, so your head's coming upwards, your shoulders are coming back, and what you're doing is you're going to tilt your pelvis like you're doing a little pelvic thrust.
It's not really even a struggle now. I see him conversing with people, I see him smiling, I see him looking brighter. You know, he's not in that place where he was prior to 2017.
It's about thinking why, what is it we're aiming towards, what's our goal?
Yeah, like to be able to feed myself and doing things like that.
So being able to lift a spoon up, not have to rely on mum to then be giving you what it is that you're eating.
We're moving in the right direction, aren't we?
Absolutely we are.
That's good.
Over in Tunbridge Wells, the Eleanor Firewalking Challenge is being set up.
So an event like this takes a few weeks to get into planning. We've been advertising this event for the last 3 months, and it's nice to then see them come to fruition. We've got about 40 people taking part tonight, and we're ever so delighted. Our event is kindly been sponsored, which means that any overheads that we have then had for this event have been covered. So any monies raised by the participants is going directly to care for patients at Eleanor.
Eleanor Hospice receives over 3/4 of its funding from charitable donations. So money from events such as this are vitally important. One person hoping to pluck up the courage to go with her convictions and walk over hot coals for charity is serial fundraiser Samantha.
I'm really nervous about tonight. Walking across fire isn't what I would usually do on a Friday evening, but you know, it's a challenge and an experience of a lifetime, so I'm really excited.
Only guarantee one person to walk tonight.
I'm not sure if my mum will turn up or not. I've been trying to convince her all day, so hopefully she turns up. I need her really.
Now, I'm going to give you one of these just for health and safety reasons, and then just go for it when you're ready. Win that race. One. Yeah!
My mum's here now and I'm very, very excited for both of us to go out and do it together, so I'm not alone.
Back at Eleanor, aspiring nurse Natalie's day is coming to an end.
So I've had a great day, but my day's not done yet. I'm just going to go catch up with my manager and the rest of my youth volunteers that volunteer with me, so we can all catch up, have a bit of one-to-one with each other, talk about experiences and really let off some steam about how we're feeling.
Does anybody else want to share about a person that meant something, you know, made an impact?
Do you want me to say something? Just because I know, while I'm almost crying, there's this really young man who, I don't know how young, he had brain cancer. He was so lovely, he was thankful for everything. You'd wash his face and he'd thank you, and I just think no one appreciates life like this man, and he's in the final stage of his life and he didn't even know it. He didn't know what was going on, and that's what made it even worse for me. I couldn't just leave, so I had to, I think I might have had a little cry with him. My friends all thought I was a little bit crazy, and they thought that I wouldn't be able to handle it, because it is a lot to handle, especially for a young person like me. I think they're still a little bit shocked when they find out that's what I want to do long term, but I think until you're in the situation and you've been there, you're never going to understand. It's not as people see.
Has it affected in any way the way you view things, the way you view life?
Obviously, my really bad day at uni, it just puts everything in perspective. Like, how can your day be bad? It makes you think your day can no longer be bad. After my care course, I'm still going to go on to volunteer, just out of the fact I don't think I could leave the hospice.
Meanwhile, back in Tunbridge Wells, the Firewalk fundraisers are beginning to feel the heat.
Tonight is a really important vehicle for us to be raising our profile and getting new supporters on board. We're hoping to raise £10,000 this evening through our fantastic walkers and their sponsorship. The money will go towards the vital care and the support we provide to all ages. We as a charity, all our care is free of charge, and we are really reliant on the generosity of our local communities to support us. We don't ever want to be in a position where we can't treat somebody who's facing a terminal illness, so it's so important, events like this evening.
On nights like tonight, I remembered that my uncle was by my side and that he'd be pushing me along the way.
The night has been a huge success, particularly for Samantha and her mum.
I'm glad you've done it.
I'm glad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good, I'm glad you came.
Thank you. I'm so proud of her.
Hey.